Welcome to The Real Deal with Jason Silverman, the podcast dedicated to helping you build the business of your dreams and live the life you always hoped for, with valuable and fun tips and info to make your life easier and more fun. And now, here's your host, a man who sprinkles metal shavings on his breakfast cereal just for fun, Jason Silverman.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Real Deal with Jason Silverman. I'm your host, Jason Silverman, and I'm thrilled to share some time with you once again today. As you know, I am always on the hunt for interesting as well as super smart real deal guests. And I got to tell you, today's show knocks it out of the park. So I want to introduce my listeners to somebody who's been there and done that, and I'm excited to pick her brain for your benefit today. Now, for the folks who I work with in any of my coaching programs, my mastermind groups, or through Powerful Words Character Development or All-Star Cheer sites, you know how much I focus on the importance of finding clarity and supercharging our business through automation, right? Well, this show is going to help us to do just that. So today it's going to be my honor and privilege to share an amazing resource with you. You're going to love today's guest. She's got a ton of valuable info as well as a fun way to deliver it. So I want you to strap yourself in. Today's show is going to be a blast. As I'm sure you already know, I'm committed to helping business owners just like you to become more successful, enjoy your career more, and in general, make your life significantly more fun. Because let's face it, right? We only get one chance around this merry-go-round. Let's make sure it's one hell of a ride. Alrighty, boys and girls, it is now that time. I want you to stop surfing Facebook, put away your phone, your tablet, your dog, your cat, your spouse, your child. Anything might possibly distract you from today's show. You're about to get some immediate implementable information, and I don't want you to miss even a second of it. So, before we officially get going, I want to give you a little bit of background about our guest today. Fortune 500 executive turned $1 million marketing mentor, Kelly Roach helps entrepreneurs and business owners skyrocket their sales and uncap their income. As the CEO of Kelly Roach Coaching, Kelly's mission is to empower entrepreneurs with the key strategies, resources, inspiration, and education needed to accomplish their goals and dreams. As a former NFL cheerleader, Kelly focuses heavily on exercise integration, personal development, and key healthy living rituals to help her clients achieve sustainable business success coupled with a fulfilling freedom-based lifestyle. Kelly, welcome to The Real Deal. I'm thrilled to have you today.
Hey, Jason, thanks so much for having me.
The pleasure is mine. Hey, listen, Kelly, before we get started, for those who haven't had the opportunity and pleasure of meeting you or hearing you speak, take a second and share your story with our listeners. What are you passionate about? What makes you tick? Who is Kelly Roach?
Sure. My biggest passion in life is really helping entrepreneurs put the freedom in their business and their life because as I got started with my business, which I'll talk a little bit about that later, but, I realized that the biggest thing that entrepreneurs and small business owners are plagued with today is that they own their own job. Meaning they work longer and harder hours than they did in previous employment situations where they worked for someone else. They're probably taking home a lot less money. They're more stressed. They're more stretched. And for some reason, they really struggle to cross that bridge to freedom. And so my biggest passion in my life, Jason, is helping entrepreneurs and small business owners to understand the key strategies and systems that they can get in place to build a true foundation for a profitable business so that they can capture that freedom and really achieve not only financial success, but also fulfillment and fun when they're running their business.
Well, I'm so glad you said fulfillment and fun. I talk to people all day long who have created a success they hate. So, the fact that you're actually mentioning that, there's got to be that balance. There's got to be that fun component, I think is really, really important. So thank you for that. Tell me this, how can, I avoid the number one reason, why businesses struggle and why entrepreneurs burn out? Like, what is it that is getting in people's way?
Yeah, the number one thing that I see, Jason, is undercharging. That is the biggest thing that I see holding entrepreneurs and small business owners back today, because what happens is it creates a cycle where they have to service such an unbelievably high number of customers in order to achieve their goal that it's just a recipe for burnout. And what I find is that a lot of times it's based on fear. It's a fear of raising prices. It's a fear of charging more than their competitors. It's a fear of losing business because they don't know how to differentiate themselves as a brand and provide a superior product and service. And so they put themselves in the bucket of competing on price, which is the absolute worst place that you can find yourself as an entrepreneur.
Of course it is, because there's always some dumbass who wants to be cheaper than you.
Exactly.
I love this. It's interesting. So as far as give me one, maybe it's a mindset tip on overcoming the fear of even addressing, not even changing it, but addressing the fact that you're charging too little.
Yeah, absolutely. I think from a mindset standpoint, first and foremost, you have to take a pen and a piece of paper and write down the value of the worth that you provide. So for example, I look back, I just wrote the acknowledgments in my first book, Jason, and this morning, actually, it was 5:30 in the morning, and I was writing the acknowledgments in my first book. And, one of the people that I wrote about in those acknowledgments was the owner of the dance studio that I grew up going to classes at, my entire childhood life. And what I wrote about that dance studio owner was not that she taught me to be a great dancer, which she did, and that's why I became an Eagles cheerleader. It was nothing to do with dance. It was that I learned discipline. It was that it built character. It's that it helped me to succeed in business and in life because of this life skills that I learned by having tough love, by having a real coach that got in my face and gave me awesome feedback. Even though sometimes you're holding back tears, if someone doesn't have that person in their life, they'll always set the bar low and they're not going to accomplish their dreams. And I wanted to share that here today because I think it's so important, in particular for your listeners. They may be putting a price on a dance class and be saying $30 an hour, $40 an hour. That's way too much. It's not a dance class that you're charging for. You are shaping a person's life. And that is an unquantifiable thing. And unless your mindset is focused on the way that you change lives and the impact that you're making, of course you're always going to feel like you're charging too much when you raise your price.
I love this. I love this conversation. Let me go down to brass tacks for a sec. What would you say is the fastest way that everybody on this call could add an extra $10,000 a month, call it, to their income in the next 6 months?
Oh my gosh, I love this question. This is something I am so passionate about. I get out and speak about this all the time. I talk about it on podcasts to anyone that will listen, Jason, because I feel like I see entrepreneurs and small business owners killing themselves, working so hard, and it's like they're leaping over thousands to scrape up pennies. And what I mean by that is most entrepreneurs and small business owners simply do not do a good job of offering all of their products, all of their services, and all of the upgrades that they have available to their current customer base. It's right there, Jason. It's in your current customers. It's in your past customers. It's in you picking up the phone. It's in you being more consistent in your email marketing. It's in you adding value. Offer someone the upgrade to private lessons. Have a conversation on the side with the parent of the kid that you think is super talented but needs a little bit more refinement that you can provide to them. Push that kid that you see potential in to join the competition team. Right? Like these are the things that, going kid by kid by kid and looking and saying, what is the next upgrade for this student that's going to take their skill set to the next level, that's going to have a major impact on them, their performance, their life, etc., but it's also going to put money in your pocket fast.
So basically we're all leaving money on the table.
So much. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. And the other thing is our past customers. I find that, most people, 9 out of 10 people, when I do a new customer intake and I'm asking them about what they're currently doing to establish their relationships with their inactive customers, it's almost nothing. They might be on the email list. And that's just not enough. And we all know that in this day and age that is just not enough. And most customers that leave, there's a variety of reasons why customers leave, but most of them leave due to circumstance, not necessarily because they were so, furious with you or because, it was a situation where they intentionally stepped away to never return. Most of what happens is life. Life is what happens. And if you don't make the outreach and if you don't make the effort to reconnect with that person and say, I want your business. I care about having your kids on the team. We miss having them around. What's going on? Or having that conversation about, these people that you haven't seen or heard from, or reaching out and saying, hey, I know you were struggling financially and you had to pull your kids out for a semester. Are you ready to get on a payment plan? Let's get them enrolled again. right? So it's making that effort. It's reconnecting with people. It's realizing that, if you want their business, you have to claim it because otherwise someone else will.
I love that. So let's talk speed for a second. Everyone feels like, this is going to be a slow process. Do you feel like there are specific steps that owners can take to achieve, freedom, achieve their financial abundance, and just become unstoppable faster?
Yeah, I think there's very many things, Jason, that are in 100% our control that are going to accelerate people's path to success. The first one is put yourself in the stream of consciousness. So, you're a coach, you run mastermind programs, you work with people in all different capacities, and I talk about this on my podcast all the time. If you want to go faster and do more, up your game, make more money, grow your business faster, put yourself in the mix with other people who are already doing it. That's the first thing that you can do because just by nature of running with that pack, you are going to strive to keep up. Whereas if you're putting yourself in a situation where you're surrounded with people that are comfortable with the status quo, they're always struggling, they're always complaining, they're not doing anything to change anything, you're going to get exactly that in your life. So first and foremost, put yourself in the mix with those people that are making it happen. Secondly, focus on your mastery of marketing. And this is especially true for your audience, Jason. I know we have, people in the cheer and dance industry, people running karate studios and all kinds of things, people that are so passionate about their craft. And gone are the days where the person that's the best at their craft runs the most profitable business, unfortunately. And now we've come to a place where those who market the best are the ones who excel because the people that market are the people that everyone gets to know. And because they get to know them, they begin to like them. And because they begin to like them, they start to trust them. And then once that happens, that's who they, begin to buy from. And I think we've all seen it. It's not the most talented or best person that typically runs the most successful business, but it is the one that's the best at marketing. So I'll just pause there for a second. Sorry, I know that was kind of a long answer to your question.
It was a fabulous answer though, and I couldn't agree more. Everything about it was perfect. So let's talk about where people currently are. Okay, because let's face it, right? Many folks are in that squishy middle. They are kind of dealing with mediocrity, because we all know that, maybe it's scary to change. And if I change, maybe it'll work. And then I've got those other things to deal with. And then, gosh, I've got all these tax problems because of all the money I've got. Let's stepping over that fear, how can folks change their current business decisions today so that they work less, earn more, and actually start to enjoy their businesses more?
Yeah, that's a great question. And Jason, I actually want to take that back to something you said at the very beginning of this interview. And this is something that I focus on a lot with my clients, and I find it to be so true. And you mentioned, there's a lot of people out there that are quote unquote successful, but miserable. And I find that a lot. Many times I find that I'm actually working with a client to undo their quote unquote successful multi-six-figure business because literally they've created a lifestyle that they hate. They're tied to the office. They're drowning in work. They're the only reason that the business runs. They can't take a vacation. It's a disaster, and so I think the biggest thing, Jason, is starting with the end in mind. Asking yourself, where are you really trying to go? What kind of business are you really trying to build? And not trying to build a business that's a fit for anyone else but you. Do you want to have a boutique firm that focuses on very expensive high-end clients? Or do you want to have the huge high volume studio or company that, is more competitive on price, but is pumping out, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? There's no right and there's no wrong, but if the wrong person follows the wrong business model, they're going to be completely miserable. So I think the first and most important thing is get focused on your why. Why are you in business? What is most important to you? And what are the key changes that have to happen in your business in order to bring together your passion and profit? Those two things are two sides of the same coin, because if you're profitable but you're not passionate about what you're doing, you're going to be miserable. Whereas if you're passionate about what you're doing, but you're not profitable, I can guarantee you that you will be miserable. So what actions do you have to take, and what do you need to do differently, and how do you need to be different in this coming year to create a different result and at least get yourself moving on the path towards bringing those two things together?
Fabulous answer. Fabulous. Kelly, I have another question for you that, is top of mind right now. How would you say, or what would you say as far as a suggestion is concerned, to an owner who currently views themselves either as a teacher and a coach more so than the owner? How do you get them to feel comfortable slipping on that owner's hat and saying, all right, now I've got to do this?
Yeah. Well, I talk about it all the time. I think one of the most important things that we all have to face and work through is the transition from being a super employee to being a visionary in our business and being the CEO of our companies. And, it's even a change that I had to make a few years back when I started hiring employees for my coaching company and started trying to scale the business. And, literally the change that I made, one of the first changes that I made is I changed my email signature. And I changed it from what I do to being the CEO of my company. And when I made that change, Jason, it transformed every decision that I made, and my business completely took off because I was thinking through the lens of a CEO of a company versus an employee. And for a studio owner that's in that situation, you have to ask yourself, do you want to get paid hourly to be a teacher? Go get a job teaching. Or do you want to be the CEO of a dance studio? Do you want to run a company? Do you want to run a karate company? Do you want to run a business and be a business owner and a visionary and someone that is leading and directing? Or do you want to be the person that is working on the craft? And there isn't a right or a wrong answer, but you have to choose. And if you truly do want to be running a company and impacting potentially hundreds of lives, you have a responsibility to yourself, to your family, and to all the people that are counting on you to have a home for their kids, essentially, as they move up through the layers and through the levels of performance, that this company is going to be around, that they're going to stay progressive, that they're going to be cutting edge, and that they're going to provide the absolute best tools, trainings, and resources for, their kids or their students that they're entrusting, that you will care for them in that way. And so it really is a responsibility to step into that role. And I think it's just getting comfortable with delegating and really learning what leadership is about. I have a lot of customers, Jason, that come to me and say, I've tried delegating and it just ends up right back on my plate and it takes more time to fix it and, this and da-da-da. And I'm sure you hear this a lot too. You're a coach as well.
Every day.
And every day. And you know what I say to my clients when they tell me that? I say, keep digging the hole, because every word that's coming out of my mouth is a reflection of your inability to lead, not the performance of this individual person. Because someone's performance and someone's ability to take things off your plate and do them effectively relies almost exclusively on how well you train them, prepare them, systematize the information, automate their jobs and responsibilities. And so, it's really about taking ownership and saying, okay, in the past, I worked really, really hard to, come up with the best curriculum and to come up with the best routines or come up with the best teachers or whatever the case, or to get a few students. Now I need to work just as hard at finding the top talent to work in my firm and teaching them the model and the way to be successful here, and training others on how they can take responsibilities off my plate so that I can forge forward with the future of where you're trying to go with your business.
Fabulous. And what's unique to this group is that they're teachers by trade. Mm-hmm. So one of the things I probably say 10 to 15 times a day is, I don't understand why this is a challenge. You're a teacher. Mm-hmm. You're a coach. You already know how to do this. So there's no reason you shouldn't be able to teach somebody whatever you need to teach them. You already know all the skills.
Right.
I mean, that is a unique skill set to be able to effectively teach something. And from considering what I've seen them be able to teach physically, this is way easier.
Yeah. And I think, a lot of it, Jason, I see with people is it really comes back to you taking a step back from the business and getting your thoughts on paper and organized. I know one of the things I spent like the last month doing, because I'm in a process of hiring several more people right now, is creating standard operating procedures step by step, doing all new internal training, audios, videos. And I think one of the biggest things with us as entrepreneurs is that we're so used to doing so much ourselves and so much of it is in our heads that it almost becomes like a jungle that we can't teach someone because it's wound so tight and so deep that it's hard to break it down and figure out even what to peel off our plates and give to someone else. You know what I mean? And so the tip I would give there is, take a day, and just say, no calls today, no classes today, no anything. I'm going to get out of my email, out of social media, and I'm going to focus on really breaking down like policies and procedures for the company, putting systems in place, getting some training resources together, and really setting yourself up to be able to begin that delegation process. Because I think it's more in the work that you do to prepare for it than it is once the person even arrives there.
Perfect. All right. Kelly, it is now time for our resource of the week. So tell me this, how can my listeners find out more about you and how you go about helping entrepreneurs to succeed?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm on social media, of course, but I would love to invite everyone listening to grab a copy of my free report. It's 5 automation secrets to automate growth in your business. And I think that is perfectly fitting for this group. You can go to www.automation-secrets.com. That's automation-secrets.com and grab a copy of my free report. And then you'll join my email community and get all kinds of awesome resources to accelerate growth in your business.
Folks, this is not a should I do this? Go do this right now. Right this second. All right. So I always like to end my podcast with with what I believe to be a somewhat telling question. So Kelly, if you could give business owners just one solid piece of advice to either help their business or, more importantly, to help them live a better life, what would that piece of advice be?
Keep it simple. Focus on the fundamentals.
Perfect answer. Perfect answer. Thank you so much, Kelly, for joining me today. I know how busy your schedule is, and it means the world to me that you share some of your time and your wisdom with us.
Oh my gosh, Jason, it was a pleasure. I could keep the conversation going for hours. You were so much fun to be on the show with. I really appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is mine. Folks, that is all the time we've got today. Thanks so much for tuning in to The Real Deal with Jason Silverman. For more info about private coaching or to see if you'd benefit from one of our mastermind groups, visit me over at www.jasonmsilverman.com. I look forward to helping you achieve the success that you truly deserve. Until next time, let me leave you with this. Get out there and be the real deal. Set a goal, make a plan, work like hell towards it, and achieve the success that's waiting for you. Now's the time. Get out there and make it happen. Go get 'em. This has been Jason Silverman, and I hope you have a spectacular week.
You've been listening to The Real Deal with Jason Silverman. To access the great resources mentioned in the show and for information on coaching and mastermind group opportunities with Jason, please visit jasonmsilverman.com.